And after a year of this, what is it doing to the Jewish diaspora when you have this Nazi state hiding behind the symbol of your faith community to burn people alive and to perpetuate the Holocaust and accuse anyone who challenges it of anti-Semitism? And one thing it's done is expose our communal leadership in the United States. And there was a seminal moment, I thought, this Yom Kippur, which is supposed to be the Day of Atonement, and there is literally nothing that Zionists can do to atone for the sins they've committed. I don't know what could be done within the course of a 24-hour fast to account for what they've done and what they've supported in the past year. But at one of the most famous synagogues in the United States, senior Rabbi Ammiel Hirsch lectured young American Jews for doing the right thing and actually opposing genocide. He said, to all our young people this Yom Kippur, we tried to instill in you a sense of justice, righteousness, and honor for all people. We're proud when your generation actively pursues these values, but we did not intend for some in your generation to turn their backs on our people. So he's basically saying, it's good when you support civil rights and you support the poor and you do all these things that don't interfere with Israel's supremacist objectives. But when you actually get in the way of Israel, well, then you're turning your backs on our people. And, you can look at the comments on this. I mean, I think your brother, Aaron, commented, there's so many young American Jews commenting on this post stating, guess what? You might be my color, but you're not my kind. You're not Zionists who commit genocide are not our people. And we're drawing a clear red line between ourselves and them. And I think that is one of the legacies of the past year. You can see some of his ranting and whining.
Kol Yisrael arevin ze baze. All Jews are responsible one for the other, the sages taught. And if you do not feel this special bond with other Jews, you're emotionally damaged. Jewish. A weakening of these bonds.
Oh my God.
Is my central concern regarding the future of the American Jewish community. And I say to all of our young people, not only you who are with us, but those who may perhaps watch this online at some point. I love your generation. I think you're amazing.
But
you're our future. As your teachers, educators, rabbis, and moral guides, know that we tried to instill in you a sense of justice, righteousness, virtue, honor, rectitude, honesty, and decency for all people. We are proud when your generation is active in pursuance of these values. And if these ideals lead you to be critics of Israeli policies or the American Jewish community, so be it. What we did not intend is for your generation to turn your backs on our people. We wanted you to be Zionists. We did not intend that our emphasis on tikkun olam, social repair, would lead some Jews to join anti-Israel demonstrations. We did not intend for American Jews to lead Passover Seders in so-called liberated zones, liberated from Zionists, that violate not only university policies, but threaten the safety of Jewish students. We did not intend to encourage or excuse Jews who burn American flags or support those who do.
What a complete meltdown.
This is hopefully the last gasp of that generation and its hold over the Jewish community. It should be, at least. Going down with the ship. He's reflecting there that they have lost control of young people who don't buy into the Zionist lie. They just don't. You can see that now. When you go out in the streets, when you go to the protests, so many Jewish people. Today in New York, there's a huge protest at the New York Stock Exchange. Hundreds of people, hundreds of Jews and their allies getting arrested. So he's lost that generation, and he knows it. And the generation he represents, the one I had to grow up listening to, they're not going to be around forever. And they've lost. And I think he knows that, and that's why he's freaking out and projecting when he calls people emotionally damaged. People who don't go along with the settler project, he says, are emotionally damaged. I mean, that's the desperation of a Nazi who knows that the ethno-supremacists are losing their control. I mean,
He's
that
exactly like a Nazi. He's like the Nazi doctors in Robert J. Lifton's study of the Nazi doctors who carried out live human experimentation on people by the day and then
Yeah.
behaved as good fathers and good husbands by night and carried um, it reflected this psychological concept that Lifton called doubling. And here you have a rabbi who can compartmentalize tikkun olam and separate it out from caring about people who get in the way of the supremacist project that forms a central pillar of his identity and justify burning those people alive on camera. And so I would love to just walk right up to his face and put my middle finger right in his face, because that's the kind of contempt that he and his generation deserve.
Yep.
And, you know, he's speaking at the Stephen Wise Free Synagogue. Stephen Wise was the most famous liberal rabbi, reform rabbi in America. He initially enacted a ban or started to lead a boycott of Nazi Germany after Hitler seized power. And the Zionist movement began engaging in Palestine in secret negotiations with Hitler, hosting Joseph Goebbels and his boss at the time, Leopold von Mildenstein, for tours of the kibbutzim, the colonies in Palestine, and embracing the Havara or transfer agreement, in which Jewish bodies and property were exchanged secretly. And the Zionist movement told Stephen Wise that he had to end his boycott on Nazi Germany because it was interfering with the imperatives of the Zionist movement. And Stephen Wise agreed, and he dropped the boycott of Nazi Germany. And that is the pulpit, the bema from which that rabbi stands. He has no moral standing to lecture anybody.